All right, I think that's our chance. So we'll call the regular meeting of the Village Board on Monday, February 3rd, 2025 to order. This meeting has been given public notice in accordance with Section 1983 and 1984 of the Wisconsin statutes in such form that will apprise the general public and news media of subject matter that is intended for consideration and action. Initial item of business this evening, since President Walter is not present, will be to elect a chair pro tem.
I make a
make a
motion to
motion.
nominate trustee Kaminsky.
I decline. I make a motion to nominate trustee Baum.
All right, so we have a motion and a second to elect trustee Baum to the chair pro tem position. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Trustee Baum.
I do. I just need to get my computer back running again. All right, brings us to item number 2, roll call. All members are here except for trustee Rick Miller and President Dean Walter. They are excused? Are they? They are excused. Okay. That brings us to a pledge of allegiance. If you please rise and I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item on the agenda is President's report. Please let it be known that at 6:04, 6:07, 7:04, 7:04, trustee Miller has arrived. Trustee Rick Miller. Being I'm President Pro Tem, I have no announcements to make. Therefore, we will go on to announcements of forthcoming events of public interest from committees and department head reports. We'll start with trustee Kaminsky.
Public Works will meet in this room this Wednesday at 5:30 PM.
Okay, trustee Rick Miller.
General Government and Finance will meet in this room on February 17th, 5:30 PM.
Trustee Jolene Pieper. EDC, any meetings? Okay, is there anybody else on the trustees? Public Safety, Ms. Cutts.
Public Safety will meet in this room March 3rd at 6 PM.
Okay. And Madam Clerk, Ms. Ott, you had a comment you needed to make?
Yes, I'd just like to let everyone know that there will be a spring special election primary taking place on February 18th, and in-person absentee voting will begin here at the clerk's counter beginning tomorrow, and that'll go through for the next couple of weeks, and you can see those dates and times on our website.
Thank you. And Village Administrator Krecklow.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to mention that at the Plan Commission meeting this coming Monday at 6:30 PM, the Plan Commission will be hearing a report from Rinka Architects related to the community input that was received for potential development in the Pilgrim and Mequon Road area. At that meeting, residents will also have additional opportunities for input should they choose to participate. We have sent that information out to prior participants in meetings, posted it on the village website, and we'll be getting that out on social media as well.
Thank you. Are there any other comments from anybody else for meetings? All right, that brings us to item number 6, citizen input. Please be advised per 19.84 parent 2 that the information and comments will be received from the public. It is the policy of this municipality that public input be limited to 3 minutes, 3-minute periods per person, with time extension granted at the discretion of the chairperson. Be advised that there may be limited discussion of the information received, but no action will be taken. Please remember that I do adhere to the 3 minutes, so the 3 minutes. So I will cut everybody off at 3 minutes. All right, anybody wishing to comment, please step forward. Three minutes. 3 minutes.
Thank you.
This letter is going to be delivered to the Express newspaper and coming from various citizens that I've gone door to door to talk to. Germantown board meetings, when held, are supposed to create a sense of security and foster a fair and inclusive community. In our opinion, and this opinion is from a group we're forming and it's growing, the Germantown Taxpayer Accountability Group. And of what we feel are alarming proposals presented to our board for approval. In the opinion of Benny, the board has been irresponsible in managing our tax dollars. There has been a great concern about policies not being followed, few public meetings on various development projects being proposed, and not allowing taxpayers to be allowed to speak and timing them where they can't really say what they should be allowed to. The first proposal is called Blackstone Creek. This is an exchange agreement proposed by the owner of the golf course on Division Road and Main Street by our previous dump site. The owner wants to exchange or swap some of his golf course land, which is a wetland. In our language, it's a swamp. And he wants to take a parcel of the Germantown parkland now housing a pickleball court and a skate park, which is highly valuable, in exchange for his less valuable land so he can build a giant rental unit building. And we feel he would be enriching himself greatly by this proposal, and the board shouldn't even consider it. And also proposed in this agreement is a tax tactic called a tax investment financing situation called a TID, which is looked at as a tax dodge. Many residents said no to this and the many other expenses that might be a cost to Germantown because of this proposal. In our opinion, this should have never gotten this far. There was no cost analysis, never went to the Plan Commission or the Economic Committee or had any multiple public meetings. And finally, the owner is a partner in the Helmut Group, who's a developer who himself holds positions on an economic development committee and a member of the Joint Review Board, where TIDs, which are tax investment situation, is a tax advantage to a builder. So this is a tremendous conflict of interest when people who benefit from building plans can influence being on a committee that approves these plans. And in our opinion, this entire plan should have been killed to begin with. And the procedure also used in the other vision section of the review was a procedure I learned when I had committee meetings for General Motors. It's a controlled narrative when you ask multiple choice questions, and that controls the narrative and it also controls the outcome. And it's a proper procedures to allow residents to ask their questions and get answers to those questions that are not predispositioned to get certain answers by this
Please
tactic.
conclude your statements.
Pardon?
Please conclude your statements.
Okay, I will. Thank you. That's going to be another thing. I think we should stop limiting the
Statements are done.
taxpayers'
Thank you.
money. Remember,
Anybody else
you're
wishing to come
you're a
forward?
voted person
Is
on
there
this.
anybody wishing to come forward for comment?
Okay, good evening. Melanie Smythe, N140W17938 Cedar Lane. A couple of things. First of all, the Muni Code button is missing from the front page of the website. I went to go and look something up and it's gone. So I think it should come back. There's room if you were to move those little circles over. Second thing, we heard earlier in public safety that all of a sudden the siren system is about to be gone, but there isn't a plan on replacing it, and I think that's a mistake. There was a lot of discussion about cost, but in Grosnick currency, you could have had 5 siren systems and instead of 1 Grosnick property. And that money magically appeared. So I think it's a mistake to remove it without having a plan at least. Oh, the Plan Commission meeting next Monday. Is it informational only or will there be any action? Because it should be informational at that stage, I think. Is that correct? Informational only?
My understanding is it's going to be a recap of what they've learned to tell you what they're doing.
Okay, because it's unclear what the process is of these meetings. I mean,
Will be taken.
okay, we don't, but we also don't know what's going to happen with other meetings and how other people may be able to participate and provide actual input rather than having directed input based on the multiple choice questions that the previous lady spoke about. Let's see, how much time do I have? Oh, yeah, and where is the planning department in this process? I didn't really see them being represented, and they're instrumental in putting together the 2050 plan. If this is going to be something that's going to be accepted by the 2050 plan, I think there should be more participation by our planning department. All I saw were developers and the administrator, and they were talking about all these different things that have already been decided without even asking the question, does anyone want this? And then talking about financing, how it would be financed. We were not allowed to ask those questions, but then the administrator went on to say, but TIDs are a good thing. So, you know, what is going on? It feels inauthentic, and I don't feel like we're getting good representation on actually having open discussion and input. That is one thing I will say for the 2050 plan. There could have been more meetings and a better outreach to people, but we did have open-ended discussion, and it was fair input and fair participation because there were no presuppositions. Thank you. Those are my questions. Or
Thank you.
those are my whatever.
Is there anybody else wishing to come forward?
Bob Soderberg, W144N9723 Elmwood Drive, Germantown, Wisconsin. I wasn't planning on speaking tonight, but I attended the Public Safety Committee meeting. I just want trustees to know what happened at that meeting. But first and foremost, I want to thank you all for your time. You have a lot on your shoulders. You do a lot of heavy lifting. It's a very rewarding and humbling experience, but you also take a lot of stuff from the community. But I want to thank you for all that. I've been attending meetings because I'm in the spirit of transparency. I'm running for the village president, April 1, bobsoderberg.org, learn more about me. But saying that, I've been attending meetings for the last 6 months, and specifically the Public Safety Committee meeting. And I heard a lot about the weather siren issue, which is the topic of my short conversation this evening. I believe the root cause of that, and why you're having this discussion, was because of the failure to have a properly planned 911 transition project in place, where these costs, whether it's $20,000 or $100,000, would have been captured in that project plan from a spend standpoint. Apparently that slipped through the cracks. Don't know the reasons why. But what I heard tonight, and I'm also a public safety and risk management professional, what I heard tonight was the stupidest thing I ever heard. And I want this village board to reconsider that at a cost of whatever the cost is, 20,000 or 100,000, to eliminate tornado sirens in our community. I've been in the community for 18 years. We've always had them. I hope to be here for another 18 years, and I hope we still have them. But I would ask that you canvass your neighboring communities to find out who has them, who doesn't have them, and make a sound decision or have a plan B in place, not just to eliminate them or require all moms and dads that have cell phones, and if they get an alert on their cell phone, to go out and talk to their children that there is an issue going on. I think that's flawed. I think it's misguided. And I would ask the village board to take that up and reconsider that. And if it's $20,000, I know what we did at the school board, we would take it out of fund balance if it wasn't if it was an unbudgeted expense. I want to thank you.
Is there anybody else wishing to come forward?
Scott Heffley, W159.
Okay, go ahead.
Scott Heffley, W159 and 10514 Old Farm Road, Germantown. 4 quick points tonight. First of all, Donna, thank you to you and Jan Miller and the team for doing the website. It's, I'll say 1,000% better in my opinion. It still needs some work, but from what we had, it was horrible. And this is, you actually can navigate in there. So thank you. Thank you, Mr. Kreklo. He got a hold of me earlier today and gave me an update on Sterling Pharma that I asked for. They did do a big project. They're doing it in the UK for 10 million euros. I think that means that we better really talk to them about whether they need our expanded TIDs, because we expanded it in the hopes that we got the project. We did not. So if we do not get that project, there is no reason to expand that TID. We should undo it. I'll wait to hear what information Mr. Kreklo comes up with. The water utility will be brought up, the water and sewer utility, the utility advisory will be brought up later for action from you guys. We did go through it on the committee level and came up with the fact that we need people to pay what they owe and do it before the new sewer and water rate increases hit them in the second quarter. So that'll be coming before you, which obviously is a great idea. The last thing I'm going to say is I'll make a statement. I'm a big First Amendment speech guy. I believe everybody should have the right to say what is on their mind. I also know that elected officials are held to a higher standard with regards to free speech than other people. I can say what I want, but you all can't. So when my own trustee, one of them, when Trustee Baum, you hijacked my post online on a social media format and took shots on me and other people in this community because you disagree with the path that we think that we're going on in this village. So my question is the same thing that's asked when somebody comes up there that is a trustee. Are you speaking as a resident or are you speaking as a trustee? It sounded like you were speaking for the whole board, and I really hope that's not the case. Some of the words used were, this is more static from you and your crew. This is your group, and this is the front row. We are people, and we have names. You made those actual comments, so I'd appreciate you keeping those to yourself. Thank you.
Is there any further comments?
Sarah Larson, Butternut Road. A couple varied items here. The first one is Tyler Munis and overall financial accuracy. I received a W-2 about a week and a half or 2 weeks ago, and in looking at it, I knew it wasn't correct, but I was going to wait to see how long it was going to take for someone to figure that out. And so today I got an email saying my W-2 indeed was incorrect and they were issuing a corrected one. This in combination with the water bill issues and other things, is this now going to be another software issue or is this a personnel issue? And how come we have such a struggle with accuracy on the financial front? I just don't get it. And technology as well. And so that brings me then to, you'll be in closed session tonight discussing the administrator's goals. I think you need to have some key performance indicators in there, specifically around accountability and accuracy for finance as well as technology. I know there are people in the community that are beyond frustrated with Channel 25 and that there's such a problem with either streaming the meetings, having audio only or whatnot. That shouldn't be an issue at this point. The next thing is the vision session. I saw a follow-up tonight on the village website with the responses to the questions. And it says events the community expressed interest in. When you have 5 pre-chosen selections, that isn't events the community was interested in. Those are the things that you cram down our throat without giving an option for input. I saw in there the reference to increased density of housing, like 5 or 6 different times. This is kind of like that avenue to next-gen housing. The public has said, we don't want high-density housing, and yet that's what this is going to incorporate. And so maybe hold a public hearing or a referendum question as to whether the village even wants you to be doing this in the first place. And so then also related to this is I've noticed in reviewing the minutes that Trustee Baum recuses himself. So I would like to know, are you part owner in the LLC? Is your business making money from the Village Center? Exactly what are the grounds for you recusing yourself? Because you are quite the spokesperson on social media for all things Village Center. And so you are going to be profiting for it. I think the village deserves to know how and why. Thanks.
Thank you. Is there anybody else wishing to come forward with public comment or questions? Seeing none, we will move on to the next item, item 7, consent agenda. Board,
Motion to approve consent agenda, all items.
A through D.
Mm-hmm.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Trustee Jan Miller.
I'd like to discuss item A, minutes, and item D, application for the beer and wine.
Okay, so we're
David.
doing a call for B and C only. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, we're doing roll call for, okay, we'll do roll call.
Trustee Warren?
Aye.
Trustee Cutts?
Aye.
Trustee Jan Miller?
Aye.
Trustee Pieper? Aye. Trustee Rick Miller?
Aye.
Trustee Kaminsky? Trustee Chairperson Baum?
Okay, we'll go back to item A, trustee Jan Miller.
Thank you. I just have a question on page 4 of the minutes. And I'd like some clarification on in the middle of the page, it's the budget amendment transferring the 83,901.69 of unencumbered and unspent funds from the 2024 road program. And the motion was to place the unspent funds toward purchasing brine equipment and lowering debt service. And I remember that there were specific dollar amounts, and I think that should be noted. So I think the brine equipment, don't quote me, I didn't have time to go back and listen, was about 20,000. Remember, Mr. Crinkle?
I don't recall the exact dollar amount. I don't know if the.
We can have
finance
Donna,
director
Yeah,
shaking-
it was,
have Donna respond to it.
Yeah, it was around 20.
right, but
Let's let Donna, you had something, Village Clerk Donna.
I was just going to say that generally after we do the minutes and we go back to those items, it's verbatim from what's on the recording on the audio. And that's generally what myself or my deputy clerks will put. So we're happy to go back and listen to the audio again. And if there's any changes to be made, would it be your wish to just make those changes and not bring it back?
yes, please. I think it's important to know what was allocated to
Sure.
what.
And again, we do listen to the audio, so we'll be happy
Great.
to put that in there. Thank you.
That was it on item A.
We need a motion.
I'd like to move that we add the details to the minutes on page 4, item B. Thank you.
And a second, roll call vote. Any discussion? No discussion, roll call vote.
Trustee Warren? Trustee Cutts?
Aye.
Trustee Jan Miller?
Aye.
Trustee Pieper? Aye. Trustee Rick Miller?
Aye.
Trustee Kaminsky? Trustee and Chair Baum?
Aye. Brings us to item D.
Thank you. Item D is, I looked at the permit, and it's the temporary alcohol beverage license. And on the back page or the second page in Part C, the dates of the operation are 5/16, 17, and 18. And the hours, I think, are mislabeled here. It says 5 PM to 12 PM. Should it be AM? Midnight? Don, did you see it? It's just kind of put in the middle. Here.
I do. Should be 12 a.m. instead of-
They should have wrote 12 a.m.
Yes. So is that your motion to change those to 12 a.m.?
That's the applicant's writing.
Yeah.
Correct.
So,
Essentially, the village clerks, can I speak here?
you'd have to come up to the mic.
Come on up.
So what the applicant wants is to change it from 5 PM to 12 PM to 5 PM to 12 AM midnight, 11 AM to 12 AM midnight, and 12 PM noon to 8 PM, 8 o'clock at night. So trustee Miller, are you going to make a motion to change it accordingly?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to change it accordingly, because I don't think we want bands playing at 3 AM, just saying. So, and I know that's the intent, correct?
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll do a roll call vote.
Trustee Warren. Trustee Cutts.
Aye.
Trustee Jane Miller.
Aye.
Trustee Pieper. Trustee Rick Miller.
Aye.
Trustee Kaminsky. Trustee and Chair Pham.
Aye. That brings us to unfinished business. Item A, inadvertent application of summer sewer service credit to fourth quarter 2024 sewer bills. Administrator Krecklow, you'd like to take this one?
Yes, thank you. At the last village board meeting, we had a discussion about an issue that came up with the fourth quarter utility bill that was sent out. And approximately 1,600 of our roughly 5,000 residential bills inadvertently applied the summer sewer service credit and in error to those bills. No one was overbilled in this case, but there were about 1,600 households that were underbilled, most of them by less than $50. The village board referred that issue back to Utility Advisory Committee for discussion of the best way to proceed going forward. The Utility Advisory Committee met last week, and their recommendation to the board, and the chairman of the committee is Trustee Warren. I'm sure he can chime in and add to this as well, was that the village should generate a separate bill to those 1,600 households for the difference, so that they are up to date and pay the full amount that is due for their fourth quarter water bill, along with obviously a letter explaining the error that was made and providing information on that. In addition, they suggested that the village write up a summary of what had happened and post that on the village website and social media so that that information is available to the public. In addition to that, we have been continuing to work with Tyler Munis on troubleshooting, identifying what went wrong in this case. As I mentioned at the last meeting, we ruled out human error from causing this issue. There was nothing that one of the village staff could have done that would have caused this. And we did confirm that with Tyler Munis as well. Tyler Munis also copied our instance of the software into a test environment and reran the billing cycle multiple times. And thus far, they have been unable to recreate it. We're not certain exactly what went wrong or what caused the summer sewer service credit to be misapplied. We are continuing to communicate with Tyler Munis and to see if we are able to, ultimately identify that. However, as part of that process, they also did identify some things that we can do in the software to help ensure that it doesn't happen again, and provided staff with some methodologies that they can use to check future billings to make sure that the summer sewer service is not misapplied, and we'll incorporate both of those into our processes. So at this point, what staff is looking for from the board is if you concur with the Utility Advisory Committee's recommendations, we can move forward with generating that separate bill. There's is some work involved in getting that into the system and getting it out, but it is something that we can do in a relatively short period of time, likely a couple of weeks, to get those additional bills out.
Okay. Trustee Kaminsky?
I'll make a motion to accept the Utility Advisory Committee's recommendation and create a separate bill and get that out as soon as possible.
I'll second.
I have a motion by trustee Kaminsky and a second by trustee Miller, Rick Miller. Well, we had multiple seconds, but I'll take Mr. Miller first.
And our second one was trustee Jan Miller.
I only need the first two.
Yeah.
The motion and a second. Any discussion on that? Trustee Kaminsky, your motion, we'll let you start.
Steve, I think we need greater assurance that this can never happen again. What can we do internally on checking the billing out next time? Not just Tyler Munis saying, I think we have a fix. We can't let this happen again.
No, understood. And I might ask the finance director to come up and talk. He's been working on some additional steps that can be worked into the process to make sure that it doesn't happen again.
Good evening. Like the administrator said, I've been working with Tyler Munis kind of to identify the problem. They did give me some additional settings we can tweak to help ensure that it doesn't apply inadvertently. In addition, what we're going to do going forward is pull a multitude of different bills, and I'm going to have myself, the utility billing clerk, and probably one other staff member check the calculations on each of those bills to ensure it's calculated correctly. And then again, before sending it out, we'll probably have one additional staff member check the bills. We're looking just to do a little bit more manual checking before those bills get sent out, which we had been doing a little bit of, but we should tighten those protocols a little bit.
I know that at our last board meeting, we talked about spot checking probably would not have caught this issue. Therefore, the concern is that we have to do a lot more than spot check.
Mm-hmm.
We have to really put some time into this until we know it's working correctly, or go back to the drawing board and figure out another way to charge for the sewer. I have a question too. Who is the unlucky 9 who are getting a bill for $250? Are those residents or are those businesses? Do we know?
This only affected residential accounts, so those are residents, correct?
Big houses, I presume, or?
No, not necessarily.
So just across the board, this could have been anybody that got short at the $250, now they have to pay it. It would not necessarily reflect a larger home because it's $250. This could be.
No, it's completely based on usage. So those folks tended to use a lot more water than the other folks.
Okay. That's all I have.
Trustee Jan Miller, do you have your hand up?
Yes. I was just going to talk to trustee Kaminsky. That was Steve Wesolowski that found the error, and he doesn't have a huge home, but he uses a lot of water with his plants. So, and And he is on the Utility Advisory Board, right, Bob?
Trustee Bob Warren.
So it's one thing to know we have a problem, but it's another not to be able to identify it. And it really creates a credibility issue for us. What other of our billings use this software?
This is our financial management software. It's used for all financial processes. in the
Including
village.
taxes?
It does not, no, not property tax bills.
Okay. All right, because I'm sure others have this concern that, is my bill right now? Is it not right? It'd be nice to be able to say we identified, it was one of the options that should have been switched off. We're all good to go, but we're not at that point. Sounds like they were running several models and they were still struggling to find it. Is that right, Matthew?
Yep, so we have several different test environments, which they essentially take our production environment and import that into the test environment, and have been running simulations of bills, and they haven't been able to create that summer sewer credit application the way it happened in the fourth quarter of '24.
Make you a little uneasy?
Not after them. I spent about, I don't know, a couple hours with them last week. In the background, there's things we can change in the rate settings to essentially manually stop any summer sewer credit from applying. So that was helpful. So if for some reason it did apply going forward, we have that essential fail-safe that they showed us that I was not aware of prior to last week.
Okay, thank you.
Trustee Meg Cutts.
Matthew, before you go, so if they turned off this summer sewer credit, you have to turn it back on when you use it then?
Essentially, yes.
Okay, so it's just something you'll have to remember to do
Yep.
and then turn it off again after.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Trustee Jan Miller, your second bite.
The question is, I would like to know if this is affecting any of the industrial or commercial as well.
Nope. So the summer sewer credit only applies to single-family residential, or I should say our R1 class customers. Those are only residential customers.
And what are all of the applications that we use Tyler Munis for? Just the utility billing?
Utility billing, finance, HR, payroll, those are the big ones.
Why wouldn't
Hearing.
why wouldn't we do taxes on this system?
So the taxes are ran through the county website, so we use Ascent for that, and that is all the municipalities within
Oh,
Washington
county.
County use that
Okay,
portal.
thank you very much.
Any further comments? We have a motion and a second. Is this roll call or? No.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next item, there's no public hearings on the agenda tonight, so we will go to new business. Blair and Helene Burkett and Terrence and Christy Kutenbeck. Property owners are requesting approval of a certified survey map to transfer 5.02 acres of land between two existing parcels. Properties are located at West 148 North 13372 Pleasant View Drive and approximately West 148 North 13310 Pleasant Drive in the Rural Preservation District. Our Associate Planner, please.
All right. Thank you and good evening. As you mentioned, this is a certified survey map. The names on it are Burkett and Kurtenbach, who are the property owners. The CSM is proposing a transfer of essentially 5 acres from one existing parcel to another. So this shaded or boxed in area within the white bolded line is the current 27 acres, which again are two current existing parcels that comprise that 27 acres. In the brief staff report, you saw a table, essentially the before and after, again, with that math on the 5.02 acres being transferred from one parcel to another, the two property owners. Should mention no new parcels are being created. And then for one additional visual, this red shaded area is the 5 acres that is being transferred from the southern parcel to the northern, and it would result in 2 lots. So with that, the proposed CSM, the lots do comply with the existing A2 agricultural district standards. And the village surveyor conducted the routine review on this and found a few minor technical corrections noted in his memo. And so therefore, the Plan Commission recommended to approve this certified survey map with a condition referencing those comments being addressed by the surveyor. And I do believe the comments have already been addressed as this packet was going out by the applicant. So we have a revised survey, but that is the recommendation to approve.
Thank you. Board.
I'll move approval of the certified survey map to transfer 5.02 acres of land between the 2 existing parcels as presented.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second by Robert Warren. Any discussion? No discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Brings us to item B, budget amendment for cyber grant received. Who's taking care of that?
I can give a brief introduction. This is an item that went through GGF at the last meeting. At their last meeting, it is we did receive some grant funding from FEMA for cyber improvements for cybersecurity to our village systems as part of our trying to improve our controls in our financial systems. That does require a budget amendment along with the acceptance of the grant. So this is simply amending the budget to reflect and the grant and authorize expenditures.
Thank you very much. Board, we need a motion.
I'll move approval of the budget amendment for the cyber grant that we received.
We have a
I'll
motion.
second.
Second by trustee Cutts. Okay, now that we have a motion and a second, any discussion? No discussion. Since this is money, it is a roll call vote.
Trustee Warren.
Aye.
Trustee Cutts.
Aye.
Trustee Jan Miller.
Aye.
Trustee Pieper. Aye. Trustee Rick Miller. Trustee Kaminsky. Trustee and chaired.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. That'll bring us to item C. And C, D, and E are closed session items. So I will read them all off one at a time. And if we can make a motion to go into closed session after each one, then we know what we're going to do. So item C, police union contract and negotiation. The village board may convene into a closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute 19.85, parent 1, parent E, for the purpose of deliberating and negotiating when competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session, and then reconvene into open session to take such action as deemed appropriate. There a motion to go into closed session for that one?
Motion to go into closed session for new business item. Let me get back to it. See,
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second.
following people there. Who's needed?
Request the administrator, the attorney, and interim chief Martin.
As the administrator said.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Oh, roll call. We gotta do a roll call. She's taking copious notes, so she'll be a minute.
Kick out and who wants to stay.
Trustee Warren. Trustee Cutts.
Aye.
Trustee Jan Miller.
Aye.
Trustee Pieper. Aye. Trustee Rick Miller.
Aye.
Trustee Kaminsky. Trustee Chairbaum.
Aye. Item D, firefighters union contract and negotiations. The village board may convene into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute 19.85, parent 1, parent E, for the purpose of deliberating or negotiating when competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session, and then may reconvene into open session to take such action as deemed appropriate.
Motion to go into closed session with the following people here.
It's the village administrator and the village attorney.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote.
Trustee Warren.
Aye.
Trustee Ketz.
Aye.
Trustee Jan Miller.
Aye.
Trustee Peeper.
Aye.
Trustee Rick Miller.
Aye.
Trustee Kaminsky. Trustee and Chair Bum.
Aye. And item E, Administrator setting 2025 performance goals. The village may go into closed session per Wisconsin statute 19.85, parent 1, parent C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility, and they may convene into open session to take such action as deemed appropriate.
Motion to go into closed session for item E with only not trustee, Administrator Crockwell.
Motion and a second. Roll call vote.
Trustee Warren.
Aye.
Trustee Ketz.
Aye.
Trustee Jan Miller.
Aye.
Trustee Peeper.
Aye.
Trustee Rick Miller.
Aye.
Trustee Kaminsky. Trustee and Chair Bum.
Aye. All right, that is the end of the meeting. I have no announcements, so we'll call the meeting over at 7:47. Oh, we got to go into closed session. So we'll give the room a couple of minutes to clear out, and then we will adjourn to closed session.
I had lots for you to sign tonight, but I guess we'll have to wait till you're back next time.
Oh, darn.